If you're going to be successful in business, you have to be willing to hire people that are smarter than you.
You can't do it yourself. You have to have people that you trust.
Everybody is as important as the next person.
You have to take risks.
Every business should be prepared to be sold in 5 years.
Business Newsmakers is brought to you by Tompkins Mahopac Bank, your local, mobile, and remarkable community bank.
Hello, and welcome to Hudson Valley News Network's Business Newsmakers show, brought to you by Tompkins Mahopac Bank. I'm Filomena Fanelli of Impact PR and Communications, and I'm here to give you an up-close and personal look at the wow-worthy business leaders and community change makers from right here in the Hudson Valley. These trailblazers are giving us the opportunity to get all up in their business, to hear about the obstacles they've overcome, the secrets of their success, and hopefully some lessons they've learned along the way. I'm here today with someone who is frequently in the headlines, and that's Joe Bonura, managing partner of Bonura Hospitality Group. Joe, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Absolutely. Happy to be here.
I am especially delighted because you are super busy, and for those who don't already know Joe Bonura by name, you've probably heard of a few of his businesses here in the Hudson Valley. Shadows, the Grandview, the Poughkeepsie Grand, Anthony's Pier 9.
Billy Joe's Barbecue, Blue Point, and then West Hills Country Club.
And you have a new apartment complex that you've opened right on the waterfront.
Right, so hospitality is where we started, and we've transitioned into some other business ventures, including Water Club Luxury Living, which is a 136-unit apartment complex right across the street from Shadows on the Poughkeepsie waterfront.
And that one went up super fast. I was watching the construction. How long did it take you start to finish?
Well, it was like a 7-month sprint. So we started in March 26th, we broke ground in 2016, and we had the first tenants move into the building on November 15th.
And what made you think there was a market for that here in the Hudson Valley?
That's a great question. So the people in our area, a lot of people in our area are empty nesters now. Their kids are grown, they're done wanting their big house. They don't want to deal with the lawn, they don't want to deal with the pool, they don't want to deal with the gutters, but they still want to have all those amenities, and they still want to be involved in a cool, hip place. And they want to be able to walk to things. They don't want to live way out anymore. They kind of want to live more central to a city. So we made the decision to build this building in the city of Poughkeepsie on this piece of property that we had cleaned up a few years ago in hopes of filling that market. And we were really pleased with how well it went. We filled up the building pretty quick. You see, a business decision to me is half homework and half gut feel. So you have to go out and do your numbers and figure out, okay, will this pen out on paper? I'm going to have to go out and borrow many millions of dollars from a bank. Are they going to like what they see? But then you have to also believe in it yourself. And so you have to, whatever it takes to give you that warm and fuzzy feeling about the decision you're about to make, you have to go through. And for me, it was, we hired a company to do a market study. Okay, that was part of the homework, but part warming me up to the idea. And then it was showing people the rendering, showing them the concept, showing them the idea, and say, is this a place you'd want to live? And when we got a resounding yes, over and over again, then you get really excited about it, and then you push forward and make the project happen.
Right near that home, that residence that you have there on the waterfront, I know you recently did some major renovations to Shadows. Sure. What stands out to me is I've been to Shadows, many of you have been to Shadows here in the Hudson Valley. By all rights, it looked beautiful, it looked current. What made you decide, let's put some money into this now? As a business owner, why did that seem like a good decision?
Well, I think the successful long-term businesses, specifically in the restaurant industry, have to reinvent themselves about every decade. And in that 10-year time frame, things start to get worn. But before they get really worn, you have an opportunity to reinvent yourself and come up with a whole new concept, or tweak your concept in some way and refresh it. If you don't, you become that old place, and the business will slowly decline to the point where you've lost your core customers and they found a home in other restaurants, and that's where they spend their time.
So is it too late at that point? Like if you have a business out there and you're operating it and things are healthy, is that the time to strike?
If things are still healthy but flat, it's time to strike. If you're still on the upswing and your revenues are growing and growing and growing, well then you're doing something right and you're on the upswing. But when things have leveled off and start to tail off a little bit, that's the time to strike before they fall off a cliff and it's too late. Because at that point, you won't be able to get the financing to do a major renovation. You won't have your customer base that'll welcome the changes. They won't even know that you've done it. And it could get to the point where you have to do a complete rebrand with a new name, Shadows we didn't update, but we kept the same name. So we didn't rebrand. We didn't start over from scratch. We updated it, we updated the menu, we refocused our efforts onto seafood and high quality steaks, but we didn't start over. And if you let it go too long, at that point you have to start over. I can't say enough, you have to pay attention to your business. If you think it's a machine that you could just turn the switch on and walk away from, you're gonna fail. You have to look at it every day. What is selling? What do people like? What do they not like? And things do change, and they sometimes change quickly, and sometimes it's a trend that happens over time that you have to pick up on and then stay ahead of. Otherwise, your competitor will figure it out, and then you're behind.
Interesting. So you really are listening closely to the customers, and I'm guessing also really working very closely with your staff. And from what I hear, Bonura Hospitality Group has more than 1,200 employees.
Yeah, we have over 1,200 employees now. We're proud to say my brother and I, since he came back to the family business and I did in 2001, we moved back home and after college and worked with the family. We've grown from about 400 to 1,200 employees in that time frame. It's a lot of responsibility to care for that many households, and we take it that way. There's training programs. Some people start out with very entry-level jobs and work their way up. One of our chefs who works for us now, he's an executive chef, he started as a dishwasher, and he's worked for us for 20 years. And we have some people that worked for us for more than 30 years. So they started with my dad and now work with us, and they're family. And we try to treat our employees that way, but it's a responsibility to cultivate a culture where people want to work and want to care.
You're a relatively young guy and you've grown the family business exponentially. What has been one of the keys to your success?
I think it was some of the things we just talked about, hard work and perseverance. So you have to, and know what you don't know. So when you don't know something, don't just go and jump in with 2 feet and make a mistake. Learn. You can learn from people.
Do you have mentors that you seek out?
Yeah, there's definitely some people in the business community that I look to for advice. My dad being one of them. He's been around a long time doing this, and so we talk things through. It's also nice to have a partner like I do with my brother and my brother-in-law and my sister. We're all in business together, and we talk, and we get together, and we have little board meetings, and we discuss things, and that helps. But hard work and perseverance and giving yourself the opportunity to succeed.
So even at the stage of business you're at, which is a very established business, you still have to find the time to be present and to network and...
Absolutely.
I think it's important for people to hear that.
You have to, and as your organization grows, you have to have people that you trust to network with you or be there if you can't be there. So if I can't go to an important event, I make sure I send someone who I trust to be there, to not just represent us, but to bring back any information they heard or saw or new news that's out there.
Can you tell me a bit about what's next for Bonura Hospitality Group? What's on tap?
Sure. So we're continuing to work on our Poughkeepsie waterfront project. Our next endeavor is to build out what used to be the De La Valle separator site. It's 13 acres just south of Shadows. There's a 10-year environmental cleanup that's been completed, and now we're going to be building a series of restaurants, some luxury multifamily housing. There'll be a public amphitheater the project will be paying for. There'll be an outdoor public market that the project will be paying for. A riverfront promenade connecting all the way from the southern end of the project, 2,300 feet to the northern end of the project. So it's quite a distance. It's almost half a mile of riverfront. And that'll tie in with Cal Rock Park and ultimately to Warriors Park and walkway over the Hudson. So we'll have a really amazing waterfront walkway. The waterfront in our Hudson River is one of our most precious natural resources, and everyone should be able to enjoy it. For a long time, we were cut off from the waterfront, either by railroad tracks or industrial buildings, and now that's changing. And so we look forward to bringing this project to reconnect the residents of Poughkeepsie and Dutchess County and beyond to its Hudson River roots.
Thank you so much for sharing the details of this project with us today and for sharing a little bit about what's made you a business newsmaker so far. I can't thank you enough for taking out the time to be with us.
Absolutely, anytime.
And now at this point, this Phil is going to turn it over to the other Phil Bronzy of Tompkins Mahopac Bank, for your Tompkins tip.
Have you started planning for year end? I know it's still early in the year, but it's time to forget the notion that year-end preparation only happens as we approach December. In order to do that, maintain a proactive year-round approach to have your business ready when December rolls around. Continue regular communications with your business accountant or tax preparer, along with your attorney, insurance professional, and financial advisor as needed. Keep financial accounting, tax, insurance, and any other business reports current by updating them throughout the year. Schedule time to review the past year's business and financial goals and whether they've been met. Then make sure to set new ones for the coming year. If you follow these simple steps, you're sure to have a much more productive and enjoyable year-end experience.